right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to The Final Word with Michael DePinto, which is me. I'm your host. I'm joined by Mr. P, and we have Bria on the boards. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Mm-hmm. Good. We have very interesting stories today. We are going to keep everyone updated on what's going on with Flight 370 and what's going on in the Ukraine. But first, I want to cover a story that we really haven't given much attention, and it's what's going on in Washington State with this mudslide. Here's something from Pastor Gary Ray. He stood before his congregation Sunday, prepared for people to shake their fists to God. Such reactions in only the church in Oso, Washington, would have been entirely appropriate. After all, it was in this rural community between Arlington and Darrington along State Route 530 that a mudslide last weekend ravaged the landscape, swallowing homes and killing at least 21 and leaving 30 missing. Now, since then, I've seen that number drop. At one point, the missing number was over 100. Then it dropped to 90. Now it's down to 30. But we still are missing, or 21 people have been killed because of this disaster. You know, these are things we see every day, and it's just a matter of how well you're prepared. Obviously, something like this is unexpected.
Actually down, right? They expected, I think they originally reported more than, right? So it's down, but it's still a tragedy.
It's still a tragedy, of course. Even if one life is lost, it's a tragedy. But we will keep you updated on that story. Keep them in your prayers and think of them. Now let's talk about what's going on with the NCAA. It's very interesting. Opinions are flying everywhere. I want to hear yours. NCAA President Mark Emmert outlined just how dramatic a change the unionization of student athletes would cause to collegiate sports. He said it's so fundamentally changes the nature of what college sports is about, and it blows up what is one of America's iconic activities. Discussing this week's court ruling that Northwestern University football players demanding the right to unionize do indeed have that right. Emmert discussed the logistical complexities of turning student athletes into unionized employees of universities, from tax questions. Emmert's figures Northwestern scholarship to be worth $75,000 a year. To the nature of the relationship between students and school, he said, "We don't even know what that looks like. If they drop a ball, do they get fired? How do you recruit them? Do you hire them? Do you trade them? What does that relationship look like? Is anyone's guess now?" It's an interesting topic. And I understand what Emmert is trying to say, but I have to go with the players on this one. You figure this way: they're unionizing because they're getting these $75,000 scholarships to universities like this, and then they don't have any time to. They don't end up graduating with a diploma anyway.
I think some schools 20% graduate.
20% graduate with a diploma, because football takes up the majority of their academic time. Now,
so they want to be paid on top of the scholarships? Is that what this is? Or
well, you figure this way: this scholarship, the sole purpose of this $75,000 scholarship, on paper, is for a diploma.
Right.
You attend a university to get an education, to get a diploma. Football, at a collegiate level, is supposed to be a plus. You go to play, but you end up coming out with this diploma. Why would you play for college anyway if you don't come out with something?
See, the problem here is that most of the college players do not make it in pro ball.
That's the problem.
And they come out without a diploma, so essentially they really don't have the skills and the knowledge to compete for a job. So it is a big issue.
It is.
And to say that college football or basketball is not big business and they're not making huge amounts of money is a game. Let's face it. There's a game going on here.
Right.
And let's call it what it is. If it's big business, the students should get paid.
Yeah, I mean, you could even think of it as work paid at the college level. You know, one of those study paid sessions or collegiate work. No, but there is no, and I think the percentage is only like 10% of collegiate
athletes,
especially football players, come out and make it to the pros.
Right.
So if you don't come out going to the pros with these big contracts, and you don't come out with a diploma,
what do you come with?
What do you come with? Why did you even put in all that effort? And it is effort. It's like they said, if it really holds them back from getting a scholarship, that means they're missing the majority of their class time. That means they don't have enough credits to graduate because most of their time is filled by practice, drills, film.
One of the solutions would be, to me, if after 4 years they're not graduating, then it's on the college to give them a year or two more till they graduate.
Right.
If they're not in the pro game, you make sure that student graduates and give them per grata
Absolutely.
the next couple of years if they need it. Because a lot of these students have like 40, 50 credits after 4 years of college.
No,
I mean, that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Or you, and I don't see this happening anytime soon, lessening the workload,
Then you make the college degree useless. I mean, you set the standards so low that the diploma doesn't mean anything.
Well, not the workload academically, but maybe football time. But I still don't think, even if you significantly reduce
they're not going to do that,
No,
Michael.
of course.
Why? If their team stinks, nobody's going to go to the stadium, and they're not going to get the endorsements, and not going to be on national TV. So that workload's not going to go anywhere.
It's a business. That's
a business.
Exactly what it is.
Yep.
And the players, unfortunately, are getting the crap end of the stick there.
Most of them are.
They really are, and I have to agree with them on this one. And that since Northwestern, this law passed, Northwestern, this is going to spread.
Yeah.
It's going to spread rapidly, so I would definitely say keep an eye on unionizing college football players because it will become a trend.
I think it's going to happen.
Absolutely. Okay. Not much has happened since we've last spoken and been with you with the Ukraine. We know that numbers are all over the place. According to the U.S., there's 40,000 Russian troops on the Ukrainian border. According to the Ukraine, there's 88,000. But Kerry did go over there and had a 4-hour-long conversation. So Secretary of State John Kerry said following this 4-hour in-person meeting with Russian Foreign Prime Minister Sergei Lavrov in Paris that the U.S. and Russia agree on the importance of a diplomatic solution to the Ukraine crisis. Now, I got to stop right there. I don't know what the Ukraine crisis is. Besides the fact that Russia is trying to get in there, I can't find a solution. There is no solution.
I don't think there is a solution.
There is no solution because there's no problem. The problem is brought on by Russia. There's no actual conflict there. They just want to invade.
They want to take their land back. They want to take the Soviet Union back. They want it back the way it used to be.
Exactly. So I can't see a solution. I mean,
and the United States does not want that. So where's the solution?
What's the solution to?
We don't. Where is it? Half? You can take half of it back, or a quarter of it back,
and then if you give them that sets a precedent. Like, well, I mean, if you put, if you just kind of start strong arming people, you'll come out with something anyway because you'll negotiate that. But the U.S. is consulting with Ukraine at every stop of this process, Kerry said, stressing that Ukrainians have to be involved in the strategy toward de-escalating. That, I think, is a better word for it, the political situation. Because there is an escalation here that has gone on. Russia is escalating this self-inflicted problem, which apparently needs a solution. Ukraine here is just the victim of bullying. That's how I see it. Discussing the specifics of his conversation with Lavrov, Kerry said that the U.S. still considers Russia's actions to be illegal and illegitimate, which they are, and at odds with international law on the wrong side of history. He's absolutely right.
Yep.
A way forward in Ukraine must include a pullback of Russia's very large military presence on the Ukrainian border, Kerry said. He said, we believe it's creating fear and intimidation. It doesn't create the climate that we need and the dialogue and the message to the Ukrainians themselves.
Well, the Ukrainians, it's pretty clear that people want to be associated with the West. They want the economic possibilities
Right.
that the West can give them.
Right.
They do not want to be associated or linked with the Russia because that means poverty to them.
Right.
And so that's the thing. Now, Russia doesn't want to lose Ukraine. It's very important for them as strategically, for military purposes, for whatever, to protect the Black Sea and the Crimea. So they're not looking at so much as economic as militarily.
Of course. And throughout history, the Ukraine and Russia always had, they've always had a tenuous relationship, to say the least. They were the last to give back their nuclear weapons after the Cold War. I'm sure they're thinking now they might have, they should have held on to those bad boys. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't think there could be a solution to this problem because it's a very one-sided issue. It's brought upon by the Russians, and I think the Ukrainians are just the victims of bullying. That's exactly what I think it is.
The problem is that without the United States supporting the Ukraine, Russia can march right through that country.
Absolutely.
There's no...
And there's still possibility they will.
Yeah.
There's a lot of troops there. Russia, the Ukraine really would not have any chance. Like Kerry said, I think it's just a matter of de-escalating the problem.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about what's going on with Flight 370. Really, nothing has changed there either. Unfortunately, though, hope is starting to drift away. Potential leads on the missing Malaysian jetliner, they do keep coming, but so do the setbacks and frustrations. Monday's search ended without finding anything significant, Australian officials said. 4 orange objects that were spotted earlier, which were thought to be parts of the aircraft, and they were thought to be promising, turned out to be nothing but old fishing gear. And that seems to be the pattern in this search. We seem to be finding a lot of garbage, which we think, is something promising, but it's not. The discarded finds were the latest in a series of false alarms that I've included, like I said, garbage and jellyfish, things like that. We are searching a vast area of ocean, and we are working on quite limited information, Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott told reporters. Nevertheless, he said, the best brains in the world are applying themselves to this task, which I believe. If this mystery is solvable, we will solve it. That I'm not sure about. Hope is really starting to die down. Like Mr. P said before, it's very humbling. This whole experience is humbling. Our technology is no match for our oceans. I mean, it's just that. That's it. If we can't come to terms with that, we're going to be in trouble. And things like this will continue to happen. We have to have respect, this great respect for our oceans.
As I was saying last week, it may be 5 miles down this plane.
Right.
There's no way that we can really, for certain, find it in the Indian Ocean. That's probably one of the deepest oceans in the world.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And it's running out. I think that box got another week. That's it.
Yeah.
And then that's over.
Abbott said that the intensity of the search and the magnitude of the operation is increasing and decreasing, and like we said, because time is running out. 10 aircraft and 11 ships scouted more than 98,000 square miles of Indian Ocean on Monday. Looking for the missing plane.
Sure.
Flight 370, like we said, it vanished March 8th. Here on the eastern coast in the U.S., it's March 31st.
Yeah.
We're almost in April, folks.
Right.
Like I said, this is alarming.
Yep.
But now let's get to the box. The box seems to be what's causing this race against time.
Yeah.
Do we have a call in?
We have a caller.
We do have a call in. Let's answer that. Hello, you are on the air.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I feel so bad for the families of these poor people. It's unbelievable what they're going through, not knowing with what's going on, whether they're dead, whether they're alive. I can't imagine thinking my niece or my sister was disappeared. Right. I would be going crazy.
Especially with all of these false alarms. Last week it was there are no survivors, there are no chance for survivors, and mathematics has absolutely proved that. And now this week, well, they're saying you can hold on to some hope. They're sending these messages via text. It certainly is a very insensitive situation like we've seen.
Yes, yeah. Send the text messages without having somebody personally there representing whatever, the airline or somebody.
Right. What is
guiding them along somehow.
Exactly.
But, it's a shame, and I pray for the families.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for calling in. All right. But like we said before, we have that race against time because of the box. An Australian ship fitted with a pinger located from the United States is now set to join the search. I don't know why this ship was not sent out earlier. The ship, the Ocean Shield, left Australia on Monday evening and is expected to arrive in the search area on Thursday. Finding the pinger, the locator beacon attached to the plane's flight detector recorder, would be the fastest way to help solve the mystery of what happened to Flight 370. So essentially what this ship is, it has this tracking device that would pick up the pinger and the receptors and the sound that's sent out from the black box, the box that has all the information to the systems of the ship and holds the recordings to the cockpit. Unfortunately, time is running out. Under favorable sea conditions, the pingers can only be heard for 2 nautical miles, but high seas, background noise, wreckage, or silt can make the pinger hard to detect. So this, again, is a stretch. We'll have to see what happens with this. We'll keep everyone updated on what's going on with Flight 370. And today, folks, that'll do it for the final word. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will be with you this week. Thank you.